I hope you can manage to go without revealing yourself, Clark. I truly do. But there are things you can do that nobody else can. Important things. Things that can mean the difference between life and death for a whole lot of people. Today on the Comic Book Report, Superman Earth 1 Volume 1. Stick around and check it out. Greetings all, my name is Dominic and you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. And today in Metropolis, we're checking out Superman Earth 1. Recently on the channel, I reviewed Batman Earth 1 Volumes 1 and 2 and really enjoyed it, and I thought it was time we go ahead and jump to another side of the fence with Superman Earth 1. It's a different creative team and a different vibe, but still fun Earth 1 goodness. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, some quick facts about today's collection. This volume was written by J. Michael Straczynski and illustrated by Shane Davis. This graphic novel was published by DC Comics in 2010. The volume itself collects Superman Earth 1 Volume 1. And finally, this standard size hardcover comes in at 136 pages. At this time, I'd like to issue a brief spoiler warning. I will be flipping through the contents of the collection as well as commenting on plot points throughout. You've been advised. Okay, and here we are, that beautiful Earth 1 Superman collection. This is a hardcover, standard size, with nice glossy print pages on the inside. Like a lot of these Earth 1 hardcovers, there is no dust jacket on the hardcover, but they're still really nicely bound. I really like these editions. They're a really fun format, and they look great on the bookcase. As I mentioned at the top of this video, I recently reviewed Batman Earth 1 Volume 1 and 2. This is a similar concept, similar conceit. This is in its own kind of separate, standalone universe, and it's kind of a relaunch, modern reimagining of some of these popular DC characters. This case, of course, Superman. I'll just give you a quick look at the binding here before we dive into the collection itself. Alright, with that taken care of, and now that we've gotten a look at the exteriors, let's go ahead and transition to the contents of Superman Earth 1 itself. And I just have to say, I'm so happy to be revisiting some Superman. I know I did the second volume of John Byrne's recently here on the channel, so it's fun to dive back into my favorite boy in blue over here. And, you know, fresh off of a lot of my Batman Earth 1 rereads, frankly, it was really fun to jump over and reread the Superman Earth 1 volume. And, of course, they're strikingly different. This approach to Superman reminds me quite a bit of the Snyder Man of Steel movie, which I'm a huge fan of myself. We have Clark Kent journeying into Metropolis for the first time after being raised in Smallville, Kansas. He, of course, is Superman from a distant planet that he knows very little of, if anything at all. And again, this is a more grounded, more realistic take, and it's obviously fully contemporized and in the modern world. And I thought it was really refreshing for what it is. Like Batman Earth 1, this is a great starting point for people that are either longtime Superman fans, new fans, or people that are just prospective readers who maybe always wanted to jump into Superman but not really sure where to start. This is a great, just bare bones, no barrier to entry way to jump onto Superman, and it's kind of a one and done graphic novel. You can get in, get out, have a great Superman origin story, but not feel like you have to read a ton more after this or read a bunch of history leading into this. It's a great one-stop shop to get your Superman fix. This, of course, is penned by J. Michael Straczynski, JMS. I know him most from his Spider-Man run, which I'm also a huge fan of. I think for me, one of the things I should have known going into this, being a fan of his work on Spider-Man, is how great he is at characterization. I not only love the titular character, but I really enjoy a lot of the supporting cast in both Spider-Man and in this work here, Superman Earth 1. The way he grounds, the Kents, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Perry White. I just love it. It was great to see all of these Superman mainstays reimagined for the modern day. The voices felt true to themselves while also feeling just, again, modern and up to date. This is an origin story, origin volume, but what I enjoy as well with the storytelling, they start in medias res, they just start the story. It's Clark going to Metropolis. He's a man now. His father has passed away. He's trying to find himself, get a career, make his way in the world. And I think one of the things I loved in this volume that I don't think I've seen anywhere else in Superman's history is he tries his hand in all of these different areas: professional athlete, tech genius, all of these things, like science whiz. And you realize that Superman's kind of brilliant, and with his super speed and all of these things at his disposal, obviously athleticism, he could succeed and make money and just be a titan of industry kind of anywhere he wants. And that was an aspect I'd never seen explored in a Superman book. And I loved what it showed me about this is a man who literally could have done anything he wanted. Why does he choose to be Superman? And we have a kind of reluctant hero here. A lot of the volume, he doesn't want to be what he knows is almost like his calling or his fate. And he's trying to figure out what really lights his fire. What's his passion? What is he here for? He's trying to find himself. And I think as kind of a young adult or someone who's navigated those young adult seasons, I felt like this was truly relatable. There's a sense of rudderlessness and kind of fatalism with this approach to Clark Kent that I really loved. I love that he just tries to find his own way, knowing that he's kind of destined for more. Throughout this book, that's a really big point of tension for the primary character as he kind of tries to find his destiny, and ultimately culminates with the end of the book, him assuming the mantle of Superman and saving the day and doing all the superheroics we know and love from this amazing character. But it's really the journey that makes this stand out so much. We also get to see how he eventually finds his way to journalism and the Daily Planet and the news, and being close to where the action is and hearing the stories and being just immersed in the people and their well-beings, and kind of how he makes his way there. Again, it's just a more realistic approach, and just realizing this is a kid who could do basically anything, and why does he choose to do what he does? And I love how they explore that in this. The story is, of course, elevated by the incredible art of Shane Davis. I'm not overly familiar with this artist personally, but I love the style. It's very detailed. Like I said, there's a kind of realism to it that I think serves the story as well. But there's also just the amount of detailing. There's just a surprising amount of heart and warmth in all the character models, and the world feels lived in. When we go and we just see this scenic overview of Metropolis, the skyscrapers, all of that, it really felt like a good sense of place and time. And I think that this is just a timeless piece of art for a timeless work for someone that wants to jump in and read a Superman origin story. Other than the origin and Clark finding out where he comes from, where he fits, and who he wants to be in his life, there's also, of course, a kind of superheroic narrative going on as well, with a kind of alien invasion narrative. This alien comes to Earth, and he's seeking someone who they believe the Earth is harboring. Of course, that being the last Kryptonian, Clark Kent. Clark doesn't even really know that it's him at the beginning. No one on Earth obviously knows what this alien's talking about, but they essentially threaten annihilation of the whole planet, and it's at that time that we culminate to the story's climax, and Clark is revealed as Superman. This alien that's trying to hunt down the last Kryptonian has found his quarry, and of course, epic battles ensue. We get to see Superman's character and mettle tested right away, and it's just a lot of fun. We have some cool character moments between Superman, Lois, and Jimmy Olsen, and kind of all of that in that first heroic battle. And overall, I thought it was deeply satisfying. It, again, is really reminiscent of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel movie, the exception being in the Man of Steel, it was Kryptonians invading. In this one, it's a just different alien race. But I still think it's effective and it works. I think what I like in both this book and the Man of Steel movie is framing Superman in an alien invasion narrative. I love that. Of course, we've seen that explored in other comics as well, but I think culturally that's not explored as much. This kind of like he is an alien and alien invasion is a real threat and all of that within this universe. So I love seeing it. It does feel truly alien as we also see his humanity emerge and kind of what he's been through and his place in the world. And I think it's just really expertly done. It's a fun story that I believe can stand alone. I do believe the Batman Earth 1 stories are a bit better than the collection here. However, if you enjoyed Batman Earth 1, I highly recommend Superman Earth 1, or if you're just a Superman fan or have always wanted to check it out, there's a lot of good here, and this is one of my favorite picks for a great place to start reading Superman. And now that we've reached the end of our collection, all that's left is to give Superman Earth 1 a grade. For its crisp and beautiful art style that shows a lot of heart, coupled with just this intimate coming-of-age origin story, The Comic Book Report is happy to give Superman Earth 1 Volume 1 a B+. This is a fantastic re-envisioning of a classic character that I feel like any superhero fan could pick up and greatly enjoy. For Superman fans out there, I think this is a must-read, and I also think it's a great gateway comic to get someone not interested, very interested in comic books. Have you read Superman Earth 1? Let me know in the comments below. And also let me know if you've read any of the other Earth 1 titles. I'm always ready for a good recommendation. And until next time, this has been the Comic Book Report. Check out some of my other videos and give this video a like. And until next time, have a good one.